Warning! What you are about to hear contains explicit language, adult themes, and potentially disturbing content. The views and opinions expressed are those of the hosts and do not reflect the opinions of anyone else, anywhere, ever, in the history of the world. This podcast is intended for an immature audience and should not be listened to by anyone, anywhere, ever, in the history of the world. You know, fuck it. You've been warned.
Hello and welcome to this week's edition of Geek Pod. I'm your host, Paul.
I'm Hugh, and don't you mean this year's edition of Geek Pod?
Right now, but hopefully we're fixing that.
And I'm Corbs.
All right. And all three of us are back. We're doing this a little bit different. We're basically doing what the rest of the podcast industry did back in, April, and started going via Zoom.
And how did this come about, Paul?
The Zoom need?
Yeah. How did that happen?
This little thing, something about COVID and eating bats in China.
No. I mean, how did we come to this decision to start doing this through Zoom?
Because we're all back basically on quarantine. You're leading me into a joke that I'm missing.
I am leading you. I seem to recall somebody texted you about a week ago and said, "So are we ever going to record again? What's going on?"
I don't think that's how the texting started, but that was said. And I was like, "Yeah, let's do something." And something we should have done months and months ago. And I did, to my credit, text months and months ago about this. And then in typical Geek Pod Paul fashion, it went absolutely fucking nowhere. But here we are.
Right.
Months later.
Right. Well, technically, a week later from when I tried to get this ball rolling. And to Hugh's credit, he tried to get me to record last weekend. And that wasn't going to happen because that was at that point it was like 11 o'clock at night. I was in so much fucking pain. I'm like, I just need to go to bed.
Why were you in pain?
Yeah. We'll get there.
Okay. There's a story behind that.
Oh yeah. I mean, it boils down to the same thing that's a running theme for all of us. We're getting fucking old.
I agree with that.
But we generally start these shows off with our Beer Bastards segment, and I usually like to say, Dr. Hugh, let's catch a buzz. But is anyone drinking? I saw you pull up a bottle of water there.
Yes.
So, Corbs?
I just got water tonight.
Okay.
You know what? It's one thing when we're all sitting around a table and we hang out and stuff. I mean, this is like, I don't need an excuse to drink at home on a Friday.
Well, good point.
I've always said if you need an excuse to drink, you shouldn't. So.
Yeah, it's
I
don't know. It's not the same.
No, it isn't. But I did find something that I want to try out, and that's going to disappear because of my very cool thing. It's a beer by Hardywood. Hold on, I'm trying to work out this Zoom camera thing because I still have a face for radio. It's a Hardywood Gingerbread Stout, and I'm just going to crack this right now.
Man.
And this is normally there's three more, and I will save some for the first time we can actually get back together.
Which will be
in person. 2027, maybe. That's what I'm going to go with. By then, Hugh's going to have like the ZZ Top beard going all the way down to his knees. I may actually grow a actual real beard instead of this corporate beard I have to keep. But, and this might be something new because, we have video now, so this might be something new for what's left of the audience. They actually get to see our stupid faces for the first time. Except for Laura, who she just saw me last week. Also part of the pain story. So,
saying Laura's a pain.
She's been for years.
Does it have to do with football? I take it.
Football is over.
No, but
forever.
The pain?
No, they're saying it wasn't.
Okay.
But let me read my thing here on the beer, which is usually Hugh's job. I need to take a sip of it first before I spill it by reading it. That's not what I was expecting. Hardywood Gingerbread Stout, the original Gingerbread Stout. It's an imperial milk stout with cinnamon, vanilla, ginger, and honey, which sounds like something you would do, Hugh. This sounds like one of your concoctions.
Maybe.
Made with fresh local baby ginger from Castlemont Farm and wildflower honey from Bearer Farms, Hardywood Gingerbread Stout captures the terrier of Central Virginia in a rich, creamy libation with a fresh snap of ginger in the finish. We hope Hardywood Gingerbread Stout contributes to your merriment this season. Best enjoyed fresh. Exactly. I don't know who that was that just belched.
That was me.
I'm not surprised. This has a really cool, like dark, like caramel color. It almost looks like a root beer. But
if you put it in a glass, you can tell better.
yeah, but I was rushing. Like I said,
You're a Neanderthal. I know.
Yeah, and then there's that too. Going back in.
I don't like that description because, when you were reading that, the first thing that came to my mind is, how long has baby Ginger been missing? And do her parents know she's in the beer?
Right. Was she
never
before
heard
that
the-
in a well? But it's not bad. I definitely get the gingerbread out of it, which is kind of the point, I'm sure. The label's kind of cool. I'm going to try and steal an image of this and put it up. Perhaps it'll get posted to our social media, which all of a sudden within the last week came back to life. I don't know if you guys noticed that.
I noticed I'm getting a lot of alerts that people liked things and such. And I don't know, have you been posting there or what's going on?
I have not. Fires have been lit elsewhere.
Oh, good.
Yes. Or threatened to be lit. Let's put it
This
that
is
way.
like the 7th or 8th fire?
Yeah, hopefully this one doesn't burn out so quick. She's going to fucking hate us real fast again.
I would take it. That's Laura.
Yes, she's our social media maven.
Can you blame her? We've done jack shit since when was the last time we got together?
December 1st of last year was the last time the three of us were together.
December 1st?
Jesus,
I thought we had
believe
one
so.
this year.
So you're saying pretty much a year since we've all been
Almost.
together.
Yeah, because if I take my normal time to drag out the editing and posting it, yeah, it'll be a year. So
I'll give you some credit. It is Thanksgiving next week.
even better excuse
You're
for me to
giving
come
him
downstairs
credit
and
for
hide.
Thanksgiving? He's not
Right.
a fucking pilgrim. What are
Yes.
you talking about?
I could be. I may have the hat upstairs.
I can bet you do.
I'll probably have something similar at least.
I did not know that about you and your wife.
Well, I mean, we have the sex lives of pilgrims. No, those are Puritans, aren't they? So they're the same thing?
I was thinking role play, but
Oh.
well, you could take it whatever way you want to go.
That's what she said. No, she didn't. No,
Wow.
she did not. All right, so let's jump into it. Instead of what's got you geeked, let's do what's new with you guys.
You want to go first, too?
Yeah, go ahead, Corpse.
What's new with me? Let's see. I've been out of work since mid-March. I got officially laid off in mid-July. So I spent my entire summer doing nothing.
Jack and shit.
I played golf all summer long. Thank you, Donald Trump and the federal government for that.
Did you just thank Donald Trump?
Well, yeah, he gave me $500 a week to do, what's that word? Oh, yeah, jack shit. Trust me. So I took that money and I paid bills, and I saved a lot of it, which is nice.
Smart
I did
move,
save
my
some of it,
friend.
but I probably played 40 rounds of golf this summer.
I don't think I've played 40 rounds of golf in my life.
Yeah. And I have a group of guys I play with. So there's 4 guys, 3
I'm
iron is one of
isolating
them.
that.
3 iron is one of them. But we've been playing. We played golf all over the place this year, and anywhere we've played. I played the casino for the first time this year, which is interesting. It's definitely a tough course, but it was fun. So, but we played everywhere this year. So that's what I've been doing, and lately I've been watching old '80s movies, bad '80s movies.
Oh, at least the old 80s movies I've been watching were the good ones.
No, I've been watching like Runaway with Tom Selleck. Don't even know if you guys know that movie. Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
What else? Beastmaster.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Attack Force Z.
Nope.
No, okay, that had a very young Mel Gibson in it. So
Now, hold on. Why are
Nope.
we not taking the opportunity? First, you should have ran this by us, because I totally would have been making you do segments of like reviews of shitty 80s movies this whole time.
don't you worry about that. I got my sister's Prime account, man. That's where I found all these movies. I've been watching them. So you want fucking reviews? I'll give you some shitty reviews.
Hey, we do it.
Yeah, I'll get you some reviews on some of these movies. I got a list of movies that I gotta watch, like Blue Thunder. No, Nick. Wow.
Oh.
Yeah, I'll get you some reviews for these movies.
Oh boy.
They're definitely bad '80s action movies. So.
What would be better, Corb's doing his own review or just reading some of the Amazon reviews? Because those things can be pretty damn funny sometimes.
I mean, I say we mix it in. We do both.
So yeah,
we get someone to do a dramatic reading, like voiceover of the shitty reviews that are already on Amazon, and then Corbs does his own. I like it.
So that's it. That's all I've been doing, and I've been helping Mama around that. So.
Nice, very nice.
Other than that, I sit in my room and I play PlayStation.
Any idea when you might get back to work? Any indication?
No, I got officially laid off from Usher from my old job in July, so I'm out of work right now permanently.
For reals.
For reals, yeah. So I've been looking for work. I had a guy contact me last week from an employment agency that excuse me, they might be having something coming here in Syracuse in the probably sometime beginning of next year. So
maybe if you make him one of the guys you play with, he can hook you up.
No, I don't like playing with other guys.
You just told us you had a group of them you play with.
I like playing with those guys.
Those are his guys. Those are the only joysticks he likes.
Those guys have been tested. I know if they're okay or not.
They don't got the Rona?
They don't got the Rona, and they don't have anything else either.
See, that's funny because, I consider, you guys my friends, but I would have no idea if you had something else. You must be really, really close with these guys.
Right?
I've been really close to those. I mean, really close with those guys.
That's outstanding.
So that's what's been doing with me. Absolutely nothing.
Gotcha. That is the one thing that he said he was bringing as a topic tonight was boredom. So yeah, he's living up to it.
That's for sure.
I mean, for all I know, Paul has syphilis, which would really explain a lot if it's went untreated this long.
That's true.
It's kind of a cerebral joke there, Hugh.
Yeah, it is.
And maybe, I don't know. I've never been tested. Things just start rotting. I don't get it. Dr. Hugh, what have you been up to?
Mostly the same thing I was doing before the pandemic. Our lives didn't change. I mean, with the exception of not being able to see my older kids, they're tackling this differently.
Yeah.
They're not. I don't want to say they're not being safe, but they are more trusting, and they have a larger group of people. And like you haven't seen me on Facebook hanging out in somebody's backyard with their kids or anything like that. So I don't want to say, I'm not saying it in a negative way, but we have my mother-in-law, who's the only other person in our group right now, only person we see. And, she's elderly, she's at risk, and we're not going to take the chance. I mean, my Ella always says, well, the only person I hang out with is so-and-so, and they've been really careful. It's like, but you don't know that.
Right.
You don't know how careful they've been.
Yeah, I saw something on Facebook the other day that one of the nurses I know posted, and it was about how people think that their bubble is small, and then it was basically Venn diagrams around it of their bubble, but then all their bubbles as it spreads out. Yeah, and it's actually really eye-opening because everybody's like, oh no, I'm being safe.
Yeah, I mean, we kept Avery home. We decided not to send her into school because of this, but also because there are families who don't have that option. We do. We're here anyway. Right. She can do school at home, full time. So we wanted to free that spot up for another kid whose family couldn't do that. So I mean, literally, and my mother-in-law, I mean, she stays in her apartment. She comes to our house. I mean, she shops. She wears a mask and everything, but she's not hanging out with anyone else. So we 100% know what her bubble is,
right?
Because she's just as freaked out. So yeah, I mean, we've just been doing the same thing without the kids. Play a lot of PlayStation, watch a lot of TV. Did get some Rev swag, which I'm wearing. Came in the mail on Thursday.
Now, do we have to pixelate for the video?
No, not at all.
we have their blessing on.
We don't have their blessing, but I mean, I don't need their permission to wear their T-shirt.
Because that's why. No, just kidding.
And I've talked about it. I look at it as free advertising.
Well, yeah, that, and I mean, you've discussed who you work for many times before.
I'm very, very proud of the company I work for.
Yeah.
So, luckily, we have not had any issues as far as slowdown. In fact,
nice.
Many of your kids and your students are probably using our services right now because when the pandemic happened, this is great to talk about. So I think it was about March 13th, 14th is when we realized, oh shit, this is a big deal. I mean, that's kind of when everything started shutting down.
Mm-hmm. That's when I came home.
Within 2 weeks, our engineers had in beta live captioning on Zoom meetings.
That's awesome.
They built it like ridiculously fast. And for the rest of the year in the summer, we gave it away free to K2 through 12 schools to help with distance learning. And then in August, it came out of beta and became a paid product, which is being used by so many, businesses, schools, everybody's using it to provide closed captioning to their, what the hell was that?
I'm sorry, assuming Corb's got something.
Yeah, I got a text message. And another one.
But yeah, so we're doing closed captioning on Zoom meetings now. So it's the biggest product launch we've ever had.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so that's been pretty exciting, but it's also been crazy, crazy busy.
I believe it.
The other big news there, which I think you know, but not that anyone probably cares, but they brought us all on as real employees now. So I'm no longer a contractor. I have insurance. I had a telemed appointment with a doctor this morning. And I've gone to a few appointments already. Actually went in, got my blood work done. Was all worried about that because, I'm old and overweight and, not very healthy, and everything was fine. I have a vitamin D deficiency. And he said, other than that, everything was great. Even my blood pressure. I was like, are you serious? My blood pressure's fine? No shit.
Good for you.
Yeah.
That's
good
awesome.
for you. Yeah.
Yeah, I got days off. We get the day after Thanksgiving off too.
Nice. Not that you can do anything this year, but
yeah. But we just had Veterans Day. We just had that off. Which
oh, crap, we didn't even get that off.
Yeah, we get there's
no. I'm sorry. Wait, was it Indigenous People Day? We didn't get off.
Okay.
Columbus Day. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Sorry.
No, we have that
wrong.
off too. No, we've got I think 15 holidays a year, and I have 3 weeks of vacation. Plus,
that's awesome. That's more vacation than I get.
Yeah, well,
I've been with my place for 6 years.
You need to get out then.
Right, just go.
Sweet.
So yeah, it's real. As far as how my life has been going, and I apologize for everybody else if things have been iffy, but all the good things that everybody else had that we really wanted, we finally have. So
that's awesome.
It's been a net positive experience.
Very
so 2020 hasn't been bad for me.
He's probably the only people in America that can say that.
That's entirely possible.
It hasn't been bad. It's been different for me, as everyone else has gone through. We came home, I think on the 13th was my last day in the office as well. And I had the option. I could have stuck it out longer, but I'm like, you know what? I can't afford to with what I have going on here with Madison and everything. It's not worth it. I think I talked to both of you guys about it shortly thereafter, because that's when we decided that we can't do recordings anymore in person. And at that point, all this virtual stuff really wasn't a standard, so we kind of took a nap for a while, and we kind of overslept. We missed the alarm because of me. It's the same idea. I've been home, did do some things I probably shouldn't have, finished out my football career. That came back. We had one final season, and I finished that out. We're done. I'm done forever. I believe I got a text message the very next day saying, "How's the post-football life?" rubbing a little salt in the wound there.
Are you guys still working from home?
Yes and no. We have the option through July.
Okay.
I go in now and then if someone's needed to babysit IT. They want to have one person in IT every day. So I'll go in once every couple weeks. I'm basically hanging back and letting people who are like the young adults or people who don't have kids at home and stuff like that who want to come in, let them come do it. So.
But you're still working from home every day.
Mostly, yes. Yeah. We never stopped. Same as you, things got fucking crazy for a while. It was so stressful trying to manage 100% support for everybody working remotely from my basement. I've told the story multiple times. I may have even told you guys off mic about one day where just the pressure was so high that I flipped the fuck out. And Madison was set up at a table next to me doing schoolwork. I'm sitting here and the pressure got to me. I lost it. I flipped out. I ripped these headphones off, and I grabbed my plate that was on my desk from lunch and literally threw it like a Frisbee across the basement. All caught on video for Madison's class to see. It was fantastic. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. And the plate was plastic, so I didn't shatter a plate and have to explain that one to the family. But yeah, it got tough for a while. We figured everything out. Everything leveled out, and we're all doing okay. They gave us a pay reduction for a while. We're just finally getting back to normal. They dropped everybody like 25%.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that was a kick in the nuts for a while, but
yeah,
we're back up and running the way we should be, and things are all right. Kristen is also working from home until July. That's been great. Just for you guys listening audio wise, I just mimed that I was slitting my wrists, and I know that's insensitive to suicidal folks and all that, but we're not politically correct here.
Never have been.
No. Which I got chastised for. Do you remember this, Hugh?
What?
With the whole Black Lives Matter thing, I in solidarity, I took the GeekPod page dark for the day when everyone else was doing it that Tuesday. And Hugh started busting my balls about it. He's like, fuck that. It's great and all, but we are not politically correct. What the fuck are you doing? So I got to get a good chuckle out of that. I appreciated it. I'm sure that was...
You were kind of going against your own
Yes.
mantra there, so.
I know, because I'm the one that's always been the one that's like, literally, like I said earlier, because fuck them. That's why.
Yeah. I mean, I'm completely for that, and I understand it, and I think it's a great idea, but, if I have to make you follow your own rules, I mean, there has to be law and order here. So
yes, ball busting was called for there. I'm not gonna lie. So, you guys want to know about the whole pain thing now?
Yes. I want to know what you did to yourself.
Okay, so I'd say probably the end of last football season. So we're talking last fall. I felt like I tweaked something. My shoulder was bothering me, my left shoulder. Wasn't a big deal. I figured overextended something. I'm old and fat and shouldn't be playing football with 20-year-olds. Let it go. Continued on the whole year. Probably as all this nonsense was starting, it was starting to bug me more and more. Fast forward to, when did we start? July? And we started July 23rd because it was right after my birthday that we went back to playing football. Still bugging me, and I didn't know why. I'm like, it shouldn't be bugging me this long. Continue on with the season. Now it's getting to the point where it's waking me up at night. Can't stay on it. Can't lift my arm over my head. So I talked to my doctor about it. He's like, oh, it's arthritis. I'm going to send you for an x-ray. Comes back. He says, that's not arthritis. He thought it was bursitis. So he was sending me to SOS. I'm like, all right, well, at least something's not torn. I'm not going under a knife. Go to see SOS after Laura got me the appointment because, SOS never called me to make the appointment after my doctor did the recommendation. And he starts looking at me, starts asking questions. He's like, you're diabetic, aren't you? I'm like, yeah. He goes, yeah, that's frozen shoulder syndrome, and it's one of the worst I've ever seen. I'm like, okay, well, I don't know what that means. He said, here, basically this is what it means. You have no range of motion and try to put your hand behind your back. That couldn't happen. Like, literally, like, I had nothing. So, basically, the only thing they can do is PT. I'm doing 6 weeks of PT where they go in and they just beat the shit out of me. It's all stretches this way, that way. And each session culminates with me on my back on one of their massage tables. And they literally, it feels like, because I have to close my eyes because otherwise I'm going to punch this guy in the face. It feels like they take my arm and they twist it into a pretzel. The first night we did it, something popped. And the dude that did it was so fucking excited about it. He was like, oh my God, did you feel that? Did you feel that? That's scar tissue popping. And I'm not going to lie, it brought tears to my eyes. Like I had a hold of the table so hard because if I would have let go, I was going to knock him off of that stool. And so slowly but surely I'm starting to get it back. I can actually lift my arm over my head, but it's not good times. And I'm 2 weeks in on PT at this point. So and when we were doing it, there was the last Thursday night that we were texting about this because I remember because that was my second session of PT and I damn near didn't make it through it because he doesn't stop the pushing and pulling until more scar tissue rips each week. So
yeah. So I was when I was at the hospital when I was working up there, I was talking to one of the nurses. I became friends with a lot of the nurses up there, and they said that they have a lot of people that will come in for shoulder surgery. Mm-hmm. And they give you exercises to do when you go home, and they don't do them, and then the shoulder gets frozen.
Yep.
And they come back in and like you did something wrong, and they find out that what it is it's frozen shoulder syndrome. So what they do is they strap him to the table, and they do just what you said. They pop the shoulder till all the scar tissue is done, and it's the worst pain you've been through. It's worse than actually having shoulder surgery.
I've heard because my aunt apparently had it too, and she was telling me that this pain was worse than giving birth twice and having the tip of her finger cut off. And I'm like, oh, that's fun. That's always good times. And they're having me do it with no pain management.
Having the tip of your finger cut off isn't all that bad. I've done it like 3 times. So.
Well, I mean, hers literally got like first knuckle cut off like in an industrial accident.
All right.
But no, I know what you're saying. Like I slip with knives all the time. So, but yeah, it's good times. It's good times.
Well, I'm glad that you're enjoying it so much.
Yeah.
Those aren't the words I would use, but I know it's a necessary evil at this point. Like it's got to be done. So.
Did they say where it came from, or is it just? Did you?
Mars. Was Mars.
Mars?
Yes. No, they have nothing. That's what he said. He just basically threw his hands up and said it's one of those things.
You must have separated the shoulder at some point.
Probably.
Somebody must have found a box of uncounted scar tissue in the back room. And,
right.
That's what happened.
But that's where we're at. So.
It's good that you're making progress.
Yes. And trying to be healthier with the whole eating and all that good stuff.
Why?
Because now they've added me onto a nightly insulin injection for my diabetes.
I've been there.
Yeah, that's good times, right? Basigalar or something like that.
You do it every night.
Yeah.
Mine's once a week.
No, I've got Ozempic weekly. And this is riveting shit for the audience, by the way.
Yeah. Mine was once a week, but because, since I don't have any more insurance, I can't go get medicine. So,
dude, we're not going to do the whole lecturing thing on Mike, though, are we? Especially since we got about 9 minutes left before this thing.
No. No lecturing. Once I get insurance, I'll be back at the doctor.
Good.
I've already told my doctor. I talked to them. They go, like, "Oh, come get your." I'm like, I can't. You can't come in right now. I have insurance. Like, oh, okay. Once I get insurance, you're the first fucking phone call I'm making.
I read somewhere, and I don't know if it was true, because people were bitching about prescriptions online. They said you can get insulin at Walmart for $25.
I heard that was something that might be coming or something.
Okay. All right. I don't know. Just throwing it out there. I don't have to worry about insulin, so I don't know that much about it, but I did catch that as part of a larger conversation. And I was like, oh, I mean, that's still probably, more than you'd pay if you had insurance, but if it's a life or death situation.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's actually $25 about what I was paying for a 3-month supply of it. So.
Oh, nice.
Well, a month, $25 a month. So it was $75 for 3 months, but with my insurance. So it wasn't bad. And the injections aren't that bad. It wasn't that bad either. I know, riveting stuff we're talking about. Fucking injecting.
Of
doing drugs and shit.
Prescriptions, okay? So my doctor, his name is, he's a PA. His name is Darren Quee. Now, first of all, this guy reminds me, he's like, I think he's Asian. I don't want to come out and say that, I'm pretty sure. He's like the Asian David Tennant. Okay, he's so skinny, it's like a special effect. And he's got that 10th Doctor Who energy. It's just, the guy's amazing, okay? And just let me explain to you. Should I go into a very graphic, probably gross conversation, Paul?
Let's do it. But remember, you may get cut off on this.
Okay, well, I'll try to be quick then. So we took a trip to Maine back in September because Maine is a safe state. It was a safe state at least. And what it was is my mother-in-law always goes up there and she rents like a cabin in this place. It's like a mobile home park, but not. They have little cottages or cabins instead. And she always rents a place up there. And because they were so dead, they offered one with a second room. So she invited us to come with her. So it was kind of like we went there and we're locked down in there,
Right.
While I was there, something happened. Now, everybody knows, especially if you're a big guy, and I know you guys know what I'm talking about. If your thighs rub together or whatever, sometimes you get, it's not a zit, it's called a subcutaneous cyst. But it's common. It's not anything weird. They flare up. They eventually go away. I know people don't like to talk about fat people health problems, but that's a thing. You can get them other places too. Well, somehow I developed one basically where my testicles and my asshole come together. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Underneath, and it swelled to about this big. Right? No, that's about right. That's about right. When I was moving my junk, I was taking my hand and lifting because I had to lift everything up and like put it on top of my legs to sleep at night. It was so painful, and it was just that's what it was. It was a cyst that had become super infected, and so I had an appointment with the doctor because I had my insurance and everything. We get back and I'm like, I can't do anything. I'm totally out of it. No matter what I do, I'm in serious pain. And I made an appointment, and it was supposed to be our get to know each other appointment. But instead I walked in there, dropped my pants, pulled up my ball sack and said, "Can you help me?" And he's like, "Oh my God, I'm going to take care of this for you right now." So he did. He got me a prescription for some painkillers and antibiotics and stuff. Got everything fixed up. Everything's back to normal now. But the guy was, that's got to be a bizarre situation, especially for him meeting somebody a patient he's never seen before. And he handled it with grace and class. And ever since then, I've had my follow-up appointments. He's trying really hard to get me medicine for migraines.
Mm-hmm.
But okay, the first medicine he tries to get me on, he goes to a website and gets this coupon so I can get it for free.
Nice.
And of course, my pharmacist is having issues with it. They can't fill it. So today he does a telemed with me, and he's like, "Here, okay, I want you to text to this number," and walks me through this process. And I get this code from another pharmaceutical company to get a discount on a different drug that they might be able to get. But he tries so hard. And of course, the pharmacy also didn't have that one. I found out today. But is this normal? I used to go to the doctor. They'd say, here's a piece of paper. Go get some penicillin. Now it's like, go to this website. Text this thing on the phone. It's crazy. Is that normal now?
Yeah, I get that about once every couple months for some of my stuff too. They're like, follow this link, like fill this out, and then show them this code or whatever.
Yeah, I've not been to the doctor in so long that this is brand new to me.
Yeah, it's gotten weird. Like everything is interconnected now. Like everything's web.
And maybe the reason he's so happy is he's getting huge kickbacks from these companies for trying to give me their drugs. But I will say it's been a pleasant experience because, how many people here look forward to going to the doctor? I like the dude. He's cool. He was even
my guy's fun too.
We were even talking because he asked me what I like to do. I said I brew beer. He's like, "Oh, I read this thing about Guinness Stout," and I'm like, that's like Bud Light to me. He's like, "Oh, you like the bourbon barrel age ones?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "I have some Founders CBS in my basement right now." I'm like,
nice.
This is the coolest guy in the world. I'm a podcast. It was such a weird experience. Prior to that, it was like, man, I don't want to go to the doctor.
Right. Yeah. No one wants to go, but it makes it way nicer when you have a guy like that who's at least interesting and likable, and it makes it easier. Like my dude always talks about his guns and how we need to be fortifying, and he's one of those guys that's kind of great.
Well, now that everyone knows way too much about my testicles.
Oh, I mean, it happens.
Move on.
All right, I think we're going to go to break here, and when we come back, I think we're going to get into our movie review.
Okay.
All right, so we'll be back with you in just a couple of minutes, guys. The 4th annual Sci-Fi Horror Fest returns in 2021 with an all-new location. This family-friendly event will have new celebrity guests, new activities and attractions, as well as a diverse selection of vendors, ranging from horror and sci-fi merchandise, artists and authors, tattoo artists, podcasts, as well as unique vendors like breweries and wineries. Sci-Fi Horror Fest will be held on August 27th and 28th at the Vernon Downs Casino and Hotel in Vernon, New York. Guest announcements will begin after the new year. For all up-to-date information, including tickets, vendor space, and sponsorship packages, go to www.sci-fi-horrorfest.com. Please note, dates of event are subject to change due to any lasting issues due to COVID-19. And we're back. That was a nice break, wasn't it, guys?
Oh, that was beautiful.
That was fantastic.
So did some deep breathing, some yoga, some DDP yoga. So
nice.
DDP, there you go.
Yeah, bang. That hurt, by the way.
Steven Scott Hall.
Yes, he's got his shit together.
Have you seen him?
No,
that shit's way out of whack anyways.
Yeah, it makes me sad to see the people from the 90s now.
He looks like he's done his fair share of drugs.
He has, and lots of alcohol.
Yeah, he's a mess.
Yes. So, all right. Speaking of things that we anticipated being a mess, Dr. Hugh. I know you've watched it. I'm not sure about you, Corbs. I gave you the option, and okay.
Corbs doesn't watch that shit.
The New Mutants.
Wow, what a great movie!
Are you being sarcastic or no?
No, I'm
okay.
Being
thank God,
serious.
because I loved it.
I mean, for not having high expectations and all the rumors we heard about it, and the fact that it's, I mean, let's be honest, New Mutants was all like, the X-Men B team or C team or something like that. I mean, the comics were good, but they weren't at the forefront.
No, they were supposed to be kids. Yes.
Yeah, it was a great movie. I mean, it actually made me sad that iteration of the Marvel universe, a cinematic universe, is ending because I really wanted to see more of it.
Mm-hmm.
And as well, I mean, Maisie Williams wasn't as irritating in it as she is in some things, which is good.
That's the only thing I've seen her in because I never finished Game of Thrones. So
I've seen her in that. We watched New Mutants, and then I watched a movie called The Owners that had her in it. That also has Sylvester McCoy, who's the Seventh Doctor.
Oh, nice.
Which was kind of a thriller movie about these kids that break into these old people's house, and then the old people turn out to be crazy, sadistic motherfuckers, and they regret it. But yeah, she was like I keep putting on movies, and oh shit, there's Maisie Williams.
There she is.
Yeah, great movie.
And you know what? Characterizations were actually pretty spot on.
Yeah, especially with Ileana. I think
yes.
Yeah, that was dead on.
That was great. That girl was seriously disturbed.
Yeah, I mean, if you haven't watched it, I mean, it's worth watching. It sucks that it's the official last Fox X-Men movie,
mm-hmm.
but as we, we keep learning that maybe, WandaVision is going to, weave some things into the Marvel universe. We know the X-Men are coming. Maybe they'll be able to do something with that.
Which would be very cool. And because there has been rumors that Marvel has approached Hugh Jackman about reprising. But
I don't think it's going to happen.
Probably not, because there's a lot of explaining away to do there, especially with Logan, which I understand that takes place years in the future. But
yeah, well, I think the bigger problem there is it may not even be. Yeah, I mean, seriously, I mean, the guy's dedicated. He does not want to work that fucking hard to get that ripped body again.
Right.
I mean, seriously. I mean, you see what he looks like. I mean, I'm sure he's well built, certainly better than me on any given day. But the stuff he has to do to get in Wolverine shape is insane.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, to get that sinewy. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he put in the dedication. I'd love to have him again too, but I'm kind of like, yeah, dude.
Right. Somebody younger. Get him, let you up. You've done your part.
Well, I don't think they need to go younger, but I think that they need to get away from the idea that he has to be quite that sinewy and muscular. I mean, Wolverine is short and stocky and built. It doesn't have to be quite that extreme. I mean, you don't have to have him with his shirt off half the time. They only did that because it's Hugh Jackman.
Right.
Regular Wolverine doesn't take his shirt off that often.
Yeah, no.
You could get away with a stockier actor or someone that doesn't have to bust their ass so much. Who do you think would make a good Wolverine? Somebody
That's
realistic,
rough.
Not somebody who's too famous to get pulled into a series.
Right, because I'd like to see Tom Hardy. I think he would be great as a Wolverine. But
he's too in demand.
I saw that too. But I thought they announced something about a black woman being Bond.
No. In the new movie, Bond is retired, and a black woman has taken over the code name.
Okay,
007.
I gotcha.
And people are like, "Oh no!"
Losing
I
their
saw
mind.
the same thing. Yeah, it's stupid. I mean, first of all, yes. I mean, I don't think there's a problem with if they actually decided to go that and gender swap it out. I'd watch it, but
Right.
it literally is a title, and all she does is she has the title for part of the movie, or maybe all the movie. I don't know. James Bond is still, a white heterosexual guy, so don't worry, don't get your undies in a bunch, all you racists and homophobes. Fucking A. But we're talking about New Mutants, so
Right.
I don't even know what else to say. It was good.
It was amazing. It was just the right amount of creepy.
The special effects, the bear.
Oh, it's so good. Yes, the demon bear was great. Like, as soon as I started seeing the hints of what was going on, I got really excited, because that is like one of the showpiece story arcs for the New Mutants ever. And it was phenomenally done. I love the twist with who the employer, who her superior was through the whole thing.
I didn't catch that. Oh, it was
the Essex Corporation.
Yeah,
which is
Sinister?
Yes, Mr. Sinister.
I read didn't Kevin Bacon film an end scene for that?
No, somebody else did.
It was somebody famous.
Yes, it was somebody famous, and I don't remember who it was now, but they were set to play Mr. Sinister. But they trimmed it because you're not getting that opportunity anyway. Yeah. So, but I loved how they did the swerve like through 3/4 of the movie, where they basically make you think that the employer is Xavier, and from here you're graduating up to the X-Men. Yeah. That was great. It was really cool. Very well done. They were name dropped. I mean, I think Xavier was even name dropped, wasn't he?
Oh yeah, when he's like, "Hey, you know who they're talking about, right?"
Oh yeah.
And so clearly the X-Men are a public presence in that.
At this point,
which made me think. I know that in the Fox movies, the public knows about the X-Men, but they don't really spend a whole lot of time on that, other than maybe people being freaked out, about the mutants and wanting laws and stuff. But it's not the same as like with the Avengers, where you can see the Avengers interact with the world on a day-to-day basis. I never even thought about that until they made that reference in New Mutants, and I was like, well, shit, yeah, everybody knows who they are.
Right, and they reference them being heroes too.
Yeah.
So, which is weird, because like through most of the X-Men movies, that's not how they're viewed by the public.
Yeah.
So, there was clearly supposed to be a gap in time there somewhere. I think this was supposed to fall in between the X-Men movies we've seen and Logan somewhere. But I don't know. Really, really well done. A little more explanation on why Sam was beat to shit all the time would have been nice. But I mean, our first introduction to him, he's got a swollen black eye, like swollen shut, and a broken arm. It's like, okay, dude. Like, you clearly do not have a handle on these abilities yet. So.
Well, I think they kind of showed that when he was chained and flying.
Yes, trying to. Yeah, he had no control, which was really cool.
Which one of us does?
Very true. It's a good call.
Sort of.
Maybe. Kind of.
We'll see.
All right. So, yes, 2 thumbs up from us, from the sounds of it, for both of us. Loved that movie. Very excited. Bummed that I had to wait this long to see it.
Yeah, for real.
But, yeah. Because I would have liked to have seen it in a theater. That would have been a cool experience. But there's no way I'm going anywhere near a theater right now. Because Movie Tavern's open and they were playing it. But I'm not. Nope.
Yeah, I read. Is it official now that Wonder Woman's coming to HBO Max now and theaters in the same day?
That's what I hear. Christmas Day. So, anybody else getting on the HBO Max train there?
No, not yet.
Neither.
I mean, there's some stuff coming down the line. The Justice League, Zack Snyder's Justice League cut. There's stuff that I'm interested in, but right now at launch, there is zero reason for me to pick that up.
Especially since all the DC Universe shows seem to be coming to the CW.
Yeah, well, I mean, Titans isn't, but Titans isn't in a new season yet. So, we kind of have to wait and see when that all starts. I may jump in down the road, because there are some things like I want to watch Titans season 3. I mean, I like Titans; it's great.
I haven't seen it yet.
Any of it, really?
Nope, not yet.
Crap.
Yeah,
that's really good.
That's what I heard.
Doom Patrol, which is just about my favorite show on TV.
Heard that's really good too. I haven't gotten there yet either.
Man, you suck as a fan, Paul.
Yeah, well, I don't have DC Universe. I'm waiting for them all to come to the CW. Like I watched Stargirl there. That was great.
Well, Stargirl has only been on the CW.
I thought it was also on DC Universe.
Nope.
No? Oh,
No,
that was good.
It was an original CW production. Doom Patrol can't be on CW.
It's that messed up?
Yeah, and the swearing and that's an adult, mature title. No way it can be there.
Gotcha. Well, the same with Titans, right?
Yeah, same thing with Titans. But Titans is just like there's some swearing and some maybe some sex or something. But I mean, Doom Patrol is just whacked out, fucked up shit.
Nice.
That you can't put on broadcast TV.
Gotcha. I was surprised Swamp Thing came to broadcast TV. That gets a little trippy.
Yeah, and that's really good as well.
I love it. I've been loving that. And I heard it's kind of like cut up from what it was on DC Universe too.
I would imagine they'd have to cut some of it because it was.
That's too bad because that's a great show. So, and they're saying that might get a second chance for another season on CW or on HBO Max.
I mean, here's the thing. I mean, could they do it? Yes. Are all the actors available now? I mean, they technically canceled the show, and then half a year after they canceled it, decided to throw it on CW because CW needed programs because of the pandemic. Mm-hmm. Most of those people have probably moved on to other projects now.
Right. Okay, moving on. Hughes News. What do you got?
I don't really have news. I didn't put a segment together. I didn't write a witty political jab for the end of it because, I mean, every single day, politics are fucking crazy. I mean, there's too much. I don't want to do that. But I grabbed a couple things while I was sitting here beforehand. I mean, next time I'll try to prepare a traditional news segment. I just figured we have enough to talk about here.
Right,
and
to catch up.
Of it is current, yeah. But a couple interesting things I did see today. I don't know if you caught this, but a Wipeout contestant died after doing the course.
No.
Yeah, had a cardiac incident. There's not a lot of details on it, but I thought that it was like, wow. I mean, I know if I did that course, it would kill me. I feel like that was my kindred spirit there. Also saw Black Lightning is ending.
What?
Season 4. It's being canceled after season 4.
Oh, that's too bad.
Like a few hours ago. Yeah.
Your boy Tony's going to be inconsolable.
They're doing a spin-off with
Painkiller. I saw that was a backdoor. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if I need that. I mean, I don't have anything against the actor or his storyline, but I also don't know if I need there to be a whole show based around him, and especially if it sacrifices the awesome family show that the Black Lightning is. I'm really disappointed in this decision, and it kind of makes me wonder: are now that Berlanti has moved on, are we going to start seeing all these CW shows just get axed?
Yeah, well, Supergirl's going too. This is the final season as well, right?
Yeah, Supergirl was being canceled. I mean, we still have some new stuff starting, but I mean, that stuff was kind of in progress before. I read an article where he said that Crisis was kind of it for him. He that's what he wanted to do, and he's moving on to other things now. But yeah, that sucks. And the only other thing I wanted to bring up was the Supernatural season finale. Was last night. I actually didn't get to watch it until today. And anybody here a fan of Supernatural?
I was at the beginning. I haven't watched it in like 13 years.
I just wanted to make sure I wasn't spoiling anything for anybody. And yeah, if you're listening and you don't want to be spoiled for it, you're going to watch it, turn this off for a few minutes. Man, dude, Avery's like, why are you crying, Dad? I've never seen you cry before. It was gut-wrenching.
Really?
Yeah, and it's weird too because the previous week they ended their current storyline and a storyline that had been going on for several years, and it was like the big fight, and it ended. They even did the montage of scenes from old episodes over music, and it actually felt like a season or series finale. And my wife and I looked at each other. She's like, I thought you said it had one more episode. And I thought it did. And she goes, I think we saw the last one. I think that was it. And then I had to look it up, and no, there indeed was one more episode. It was so weird the way they did that. It felt like it was the end. And then I start reading, well, the final episode is actually going to be more like episodes from previous years, kind of a standalone monster of the week, them doing what they always used to do before they got caught up in all the cosmic bullshit and the long storylines. And one of them had said, come out in the media and said, hey, I think probably, in 5 years or something, we'll probably come back and revisit it. I don't think it's really gone. So this made me think, oh, okay. So they're going to be ending with them just on the road doing what they always did, saving people and killing things, which is what they always did. And I'm like, that's a great way to end the show. It leaves so you can kind of in your head think, the Winchesters are still out there. We're just not watching that show anymore, but they're still doing what they do and they can come back whenever they want. Nope. We saw them both die.
No kidding.
Both of them dead. Dunzo. If they want to come back to this, I don't see how they can do it without some bullshit excuse. And they even gummed up all the time in between, because basically what happens is, they beat God. You probably don't know this, but they met God. God's a real asshole. God was basically going to destroy the universe because he was sick of everything. And the angel, everyone was involved. They managed to win. So now it's like, hey, everything's back to normal. All their, past 15 years, it's all done, and they're back to doing what their dad taught them to do, which was, to kill monsters. A normal hunting a nest of vampires seems like something they did right in season 1. And during the fight, this one guy shoves Dean back, and in what you don't realize at first is there was a piece of rebar in the pole, and it goes right through him. Sammy kills the vampire, but he's like, hey, Dean, come on. And he's like, no, dude. He's like, there's something in my back. And it gets drawn out, and he just says, Sammy, promise me, like they always do, because they've died in the past, but there's always been some way to bring them back. And then he just dies. And
wow.
He wakes up in heaven. Sees Bobby, who you might have seen if you watched the first season and everything. And Bobby's like, your mom and dad live over here. It's a cool place. And then you see Sam in a montage live out the rest of his life, get married, have a kid, hair goes gray, clearly hunted some more. And then on his deathbed with his son there, and he dies. And then he pops up into heaven with Dean. And I'm like, how are they going to come back to this?
Right.
It's an end. And I think what really got me, first was the death, but then the fact that I realized while I'm watching this is that there's no continuing this. And it's tough because we've spent 15 years with these characters. And Corbs, I know you don't like fantasy stuff, but if you're bored and don't have anything to watch, that's a great series. If you go to the YMCA, you're going to see people of all walks of life grab the treadmills that are in front of the TV that's showing TNT morning first for it's like 2 episodes of Charmed and 2 episodes of Supernatural back to back. Great show, definitely something you can relate to if you're not into normal genre stuff, because it's kind of like a road trip thing with some horror movie stuff thrown in.
Okay.
But yeah, it was 15 years of being invested in the storyline. I'm still married to somebody else when I watched this first episode.
That's pretty amazing though. 15 years of it. TV shows don't go on that long anymore.
Right, that doesn't happen.
Even TV shows back in the 80s, 70s, MASH, Cheers, stuff like that, they didn't go 15 years. So 15 years for a TV show, that's pretty good.
Yeah, and it ended because they decided that it was time to end it. The president of the CW has always said, we will let them make Supernatural for as long as they want to, because while it wasn't super high rated, it was always rated the same. Like, it was one of the most consistent shows on television. So they knew that they could, guarantee they had about 1 million viewers, every single week in that spot, and that was good enough. Yeah, it's you should check it out. But yeah, a lot of Supernatural fans are pissed about the way it ended. I'm just, I don't know. You got to kind of decompress. I've had the song, "Carry On My Wayward Son," which is kind of the unofficial theme song of the show, stuck in my head all day. Every time I see something in the Facebook feed, I start to get a little. It's weird that TV shows can impact us that much, but with something like this where you've spent that long, watching these characters, they really do become like family.
Definitely.
I don't know. What TV show or in the past have either of you had that kind of a connection with?
I know what Corbs is going to say.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I know what he's going to say too. How about you, Paul?
I gotta admit, yes. Sons was one of those that you get so invested in. And
have you checked out the Mayans?
I haven't.
No. That's pretty good too. That's and it's a different twist on kind of the same thing, which is weird. Obviously in Sons they're fighting against the law, in the Mayans, they're working the main character. I can't remember what his name is. Top of my head. Actually, it comes back, I think, at the beginning of next year. But he's actually a government informant.
Nice.
And his brother's member of the club, and he gets himself prospecting the club and becomes a full member and all that stuff. And they're both working with the government, the feds and stuff like that. It's weird, but it's at the same time, it's a great show.
Nice. I'll have to check it out at some point. Yeah. I
found another show that I really like too on the Paramount Network, Yellowstone.
I've heard about this. That's Kevin Costner.
Kevin Costner, yeah. He's in it. Cole Hauser. He's not like a big actor, like a real big like top draw actor. He was in Too Fast, Too Furious. He was the bad guy in that. He's in a couple other movies that I've seen, but like nothing like huge. Like he's not like, Tom Cruise, Tom Hardy, stuff like that. But he's like a big character in a lot of movies and TV shows, stuff like that. But he is fantastic in it. And then he's got 3 sons. Wes Bentley is one of them. He's a lawyer that he's like went to school. It's about a guy that owns like, I want to say something like 240 acres of land in Montana.
Oh wow!
So and it shows how that they go about maintaining the land and stuff like that. People are trying to come and buy the land off of them and steal the land from them, and they're trying to build up the area so they get money coming in, and how he has to fight to keep the land and stuff like that. So it's great. Actually, I got my ex to watch it. So she watched it in like a weekend on the Peacock. Mm-hmm. Peacock had the first 2 seasons for free or whatever. So she would call me up and watch. Oh my God, I can't believe what's going on. And I got to go back and remember what's going on. But this last season started in June and ended. And the ending of it, I was like, "Are you fucking serious? I gotta wait a whole year to find out what happens." So to me that's a good. I like when they do stuff like that. Like season 2 of Sons, when Jack's son gets kidnapped and they got to go find him. Stuff like that keeps you invested, keeps you coming back to the show, and this show does that to you. So
well, I just had to switch out the DVDs, but. Because remember, you gave me the first 4 seasons all together, so I was like, "Yeah, let's just keep going." Because I would have went nuts on that cliffhanger if I would have had to wait like all summer to find out what happens there.
Yeah, this one is crazy. The end of this one was nuts. So,
nice.
But so he's got 2. Actually, he had 3 sons. One was killed in the very first episode, and then he's got a daughter. So, and she's like an investment banker type thing. So she's always the one that's getting the money coming in for the ranch, and she's buying stuff and buying properties and selling properties and stuff like that. So it's if you're looking for a show, that to me that's my new Sons.
Outstanding.
I'm waiting for that to come up in it'll probably start next June. So I mean I gotta wait another 6 months to see it. So I'm itching. And actually starting tomorrow, they're playing all 3 seasons on the Paramount Network back to back to back. So
nice.
All the episodes. So I'll probably be sitting here.
That's Corbs' next week. He's done.
Hey, Corbs, do you have Netflix?
I do have Netflix.
Okay. I'm pretty sure that all 327 episodes of Supernatural on Netflix. I have a challenge to you. I would like to see you go and try to watch at least the first episode, maybe the first couple.
Okay.
See what you think. We're doing this. We're gonna do this weekly or bi-weekly.
Weekly, I'd like to, as long as everything works out. Do we want to go weekly after Thanksgiving?
I would say that's probably I don't know.
We'll play it by ear, but there's a good chance we may miss a week. Don't chalk it up to us doing what we always do.
You mean you doing what you always do?
Right, but GeekPod is we, is me, is we. So yeah,
I'm not you.
Did you say we?
I mean, that might make the show different.
The logo is green, but yeah, that's my challenge.
You know what? I might even get in on this challenge.
I'm looking for shows to watch. Actually, the other show I was just watching, I started watching, is Bad Blood on Netflix with Kim Coates. So that's pretty good. It's about the mafia controlled Montreal in the late 80s, early 90s, and how they went about it. And Kim Coates plays the enforcer for the mob boss through the first season, and at the end of the first season, all the mob boss, his son, and his father are all killed, and he takes over. Nice. So the second season is him running the racket in Montreal not for the mob. He's no longer part of the mob. So I got like 2 episodes left before that's over. And of course, it's not recording because of fucking the COVID.
Right.
So that's it. But yeah, I mean, I'm looking for shows to watch. So I'll check out Supernatural. I got no problem with that.
Yeah, I mean, I really think that I understand the kind of shows you're into, and you have more grounded sensibility than I do. I think that the show kind of transcends that because it's really about family.
Right.
It just all the other stuff is I don't want to say it's noise, but it's just setting. It's not really what it's about. At its core, it's the story of a 2 brothers and their dad. Really.
Okay.
And I think you'll like it.
All right. Have you guys? I gotta ask. You guys still watch the Walking Dead at all?
Yes.
Oh, of course.
Still watching.
You watch Fear?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And
World Beyond.
You watch World
yes,
Beyond?
thank you. Yes, I love
Is
that
it
show.
You do?
I do.
Yes.
I'm really enjoying that.
See, I've heard bad things about it. I haven't started watching it myself.
Check it out. Go to AMC's streaming and catch up because it's good. It's a really cool show.
Yeah. All right.
I like the differences with what they're doing. They're really humanizing it with the kids, and
I was worried about it, but the kids in The Walking Dead too. But it really doesn't play like that. It's definitely some strong actors in that show as well. The younger actors are incredible with what a good job they're doing.
Yes, and they're doing some really cool shit in there too.
Okay, what do you guys think about The Walking Dead ending next year?
I'm okay with it. I see the time.
You think you agree it's run its course?
I don't, but if the purpose here is to end it so they can continue, not just past stories, like they did announce they're going to be doing stories of The Walking Dead to focus on past characters, but if their intention is to still move the whole universe forward with other series, I'm completely behind it.
Me
I don't
too.
think that the property needs to end, but they are kind of getting, how much more can they do in this particular setting?
They were talking about like Daryl and Carol.
Oh, that's definitely happening.
Yeah. So I didn't know, and I was wondering if you guys watched the World Beyond because I've heard people have said good things about it. I've read things about it that said it's not that good. So I just was wondering
that's incorrect. That is really good. Yeah.
All right.
I'll put it to you this way. I always call Fear the Walking Dead the good Walking Dead show. World Beyond is the other good Walking Dead show.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like Fear of the Walking Dead. I've been watching that, and I mean, Paul, when you and I first started that, I refused to watch The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
and now I itch for Sunday nights when Fear's on and Walking Dead's on. I tape them because I put my son to bed in the middle of the show, so I don't want to watch it and then have to push pause. So I tape it, and after he goes to bed, I'll watch it right after. So, but coming from a guy who hasn't or didn't want to watch the show, to now I can't wait for it to. I have to wait for it to be on every week, and I jones for it to be on every week. It's pretty weird that I've gotten to that point. So I don't know, but I'll check out World Beyond. Like I said, I read things. I said that people were saying it wasn't that good, so I was like, They were talking about maybe not being renewed after one season. So I was like, well, I'm not going to get invested in a show.
It's a 2-season show. It has an ending already.
Oh, okay.
It's already greenlit as far as I know, but it was created as an idea. There's going to be 20 episodes total. That's it. And they're going to tell the story from start to finish.
Nice.
Oh, all right. Well, yeah, I guess then I'll give it a shot. I know my girlfriend's been watching it, so maybe if she has them taped, but so maybe if she hasn't watched them yet, whenever I'm over there next.
Have you been able to see her during the pandemic?
To start, we weren't, but when stuff started loosening up, we started going back out. We started doing date nights on Thursday nights and stuff like that. So, but now with things starting to shut back down again, it's getting tough. And we just found out that her ex and his new fiance and their baby daughter were at a party where somebody tested positive.
Oof. Yeah.
And then he had their son, so her son, on Wednesday. He wasn't there, and he got tested the next day at school and was negative. So he's negative. the baby just tested. They had their baby tested, and that was the text message I got when you guys were like, "What the hell was that?" That text message was her texting me, letting me know that the baby tested positive.
Oof.
So the girl that was at the party was asymptomatic. So I don't know what that means for the baby, but they found out today that the baby has tested positive. So we're gonna, we gotta wait and find out. So.
Speaking of young actors and actresses, have you seen, apparently on TikTok, there's been a bunch of talk, an old movie from 2011 has been freaking people out. It's called Megan is Missing. Have you happened to catch any of the news stories about this?
No.
Well, I caught a little buzz of this, and the director went on and he said, hey, if I'd known people were going to be watching this again, I would have given my standard warning that don't watch it at night and don't watch it alone, which intrigued me. I'm like, oh, he's saying it's really scary. I'm going to tell you right now, I went and I found the movie. I watched it. It is not scary. Originally, it was conceptualized as a educational tool to teach kids about the danger of the internet. I will tell you, if you want to see something that feels very real, feels very powerful, it's going to make you feel awkward and weird, because the idea behind the film is a girl gets abducted and by a creepy guy, and so really bad stuff happens, and it's all done in like the found footage style. I mean, there was a point in this movie where I'm just like, this is maybe the most awkward or weird I felt watching a movie with my wife ever. But it was still powerful. And I came away, when you watch something, even if it disturbs you, if you come away, maybe not changed, but it sticks with you a week later, that still is bothering me. That's an impressive feat, I think.
Definitely.
But yeah. Fair warning, you're not gonna be scared like a regular horror movie. You're not gonna feel good after watching this. That's for damn sure. But it definitely would be an awesome tool to scare the shit out of your kids so they never talk to random people on the internet ever again.
Nice.
Maybe I'll have to watch it, because my kid's been on some not random chat, but some chat or something like that. And him and I got into it the other day about that. We got into a lot of things.
There's some graphic talk on there, because one of the girls is a really good girl, the other one's a real slut, and she goes into some really graphic stuff about the first time her dad raping her, or the first time she gave a blowjob. Like graphic, I wouldn't show it to my 9-year-old right now, but if you get a kid that's past the point where they at least know what sex is, and they can be, what that really does is it establishes this girl's boundary. She's the kind of girl who feels like she's older just because she's done a lot of stuff, but it turns out that doesn't protect you from somebody who's a predator. And that's some people said that it sexualized or fetishized teenage girls. I think, first of all, that was probably very real how they talk, and it effectively shows that you don't have plot armor in real life. And bad things can happen when you make bad decisions. So I really think it's an educational tool. It's called Megan is Missing. Check it out. Just be prepared to feel weird after you watch this.
Outstanding. I'm gonna put all this stuff in the notes on our Facebook page too.
You're gonna feel sad.
Feel sad? Yes.
So what do we got up next, Paul?
All right. Well, we are running out of time again. 6 minutes.
Let's speed through something.
Can you speed through either one of you? Can you speed through the sports in 5 minutes?
Yeah, sure. Why not? It's not that. Trust me, there's not many fucking sports going on. Everything's in a fucking bubble, or everybody's getting COVID. I mean, that's sports. There you go.
There you go. And that was Corb's sports report.
I mean, obviously, you're going to say, congratulations to the Tampa Bay Lightning for winning the Stanley Cup. For the first time in my life, I was able to watch the Vancouver Canucks every single game in the playoffs, which was nice when they finally started playing again. Obviously, them being on the West Coast, and I couldn't see them very much, so I got to watch them play every game. And I literally, because I did nothing. I had nothing going on and no work the next day, so I was able to stay up at 10:30 and watch until 1 o'clock at night. So that was pretty nice. So congrats. I was happy that I could see that. I saw their franchise goalie play at the end, and he is freaking fantastic. And I look forward to the next couple years going forward. NBA, Lakers, yippee freaking doo-dah day. Nobody cares. LeBron, whatever. MLB, Dodgers. I'm happy for them. They've been trying and trying. It solidified Clayton Kershaw's Hall of Fame career and finally winning one. He's not won one for years. Obviously, first time they won it since '88. So happy that he won it. People can stop talking about that shit now with him. The other thing I got is, Jose Abreu, White Sox, huge White Sox fan, won the MVP this year, had a great season in a 60-game season. Again, I got to watch a lot of the games being played this year. So that was nice. And then only other thing I got is Dustin Johnson just won the Masters. As everybody knows, obviously playing 40 rounds of golf this year. I'm a huge golf fan, and he's my favorite golfer. My all-time favorite golfer is Greg Norman. Never did win the Masters, but I was happy that I actually watched Dustin Johnson win the Masters this year, which was nice. Played in November. It's normally played in April. So congratulations to him. And then one last thing, Sean Connery.
Oh, yes.
Big Sean Connery, big 007 fan. Obviously, we talked about it earlier. Just, him passing away. The original OG James Bond is gone. And, people don't know it, but that's who I'm named after.
Oh, nice.
My father was a big Sean Connery fan, so that's how I got.
So am I.
Yeah. So
yeah, I mean, 007, love the Bond movies. Got my replica Highlander sword here. Highlander's one of my favorite movies.
Love that movie.
Yeah, me too. So yeah, I wanted to say, rest in peace, 007.
The 4th annual Sci-Fi Horror Fest returns in 2021 with an all-new location. This family-friendly event will have new celebrity guests, new activities and attractions, as well as a diverse selection of vendors, ranging from horror and sci-fi merchandise, artists and authors, tattoo artists, podcasts, as well as unique vendors like breweries and wineries. Sci-Fi Horror Fest will be held on August 27th and 28th at the Vernon Downs Casino and Hotel in Vernon, New York. Guest announcements will begin after the new year. For all up-to-date information, including tickets, vendor space, and sponsorship packages, go to www.sci-fi-horrorfest.com. Please note, dates of event are subject to change due to any lasting issues due to COVID-19.
What? Welcome back.
You need to keep that in. You have to. God, it irritates me so much. My new glasses, I didn't get the anti-reflective coating because I didn't want to pay all the extra money, and all fucking screens in my glass. Did you even notice I have new glasses?
I noticed they look different, and I definitely noticed that you have laser eyes tonight. Yes.
Yeah, that's going to be a thing. Nothing I can do.
Well, I have my glasses on the first time, and I have a hard time seeing up close with them, so I could take them off. So I had them off and on. So in the middle of between the first two, I went with my contacts in.
Oh, that's what took you so fucking long. I wondered
that's exactly what it was. I went with my contacts. So.
All right.
Okay. Now this is something I've been looking forward to since September. Hugh, why don't you tell us about the video game you were comped by Paizo for us? We were approached by a role-playing game company to do a review of their video game. So take it away.
The funny thing about this, Paul, is when you mentioned to me in the text that you wanted me to talk about that game, I've gone back through our text. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck he's talking about. I'm just going to ask on air. Maybe it'll come off as funny. I have no clue. Dude, I barely played it. I could not get into it. It was so hard to get into the game. Everything was, it was like, I'm not saying it's a bad game. It's based on a real role-playing game.
Yes.
And I mean, definitely you can see the attention to detail there. But it's like micromanaging things and tiny little text. And I played it for about 2 hours.
I should have thought about this. Yeah. And went back because I think he was like live stream texting me as he was playing it. And he was not a happy man.
No.
Not even a little bit. Couldn't figure out how to save.
Yeah, I could. Simple things. Things, okay, I don't understand your game, but I should be able to figure out how to save without a fucking instruction manual.
Right. I did a little bit of reading on the game, and apparently the character creation is ridiculously in-depth. It's very true to the tabletop role-playing game, which is probably what makes it difficult as a PlayStation game. We should probably also mention the name of this. It's Pathfinder Kingmaker.
I hope you get there. I was wondering what the name of the fucking game was.
And this is apparently the deluxe edition or something like that. And this is a game that was been out since 2018. So the version they approached us about is just the polished version of it.
Yeah.
And surprisingly, if you Google this online, people are raving about how great the game is.
Now, I can kind of understand it because, I mean, it does this whole, like, map thing. And, like, when you get to each area, you know, maybe you got to fight or, you know, talk to the innkeeper or whatever. I mean, it's all really well done. But first of all, I'm not a big fan of isometric games. I mean, we have technology to have 3D games now. So, right. I mean, you could release a supernatural isometric game, and I'm probably not going to play it because I just can't get into that anymore.
Gotcha.
Corbs, do you know what that means?
Not really.
It's kind of where you see things from the top down, but like 3/4 view and at an angle, like older style tactical role-playing games. I mean, everything that I did in the game, I mean, it seemed well polished. The sound and music were excellent. There's nothing technically wrong with it at all, but I just could not get into that style game. So I don't want someone to listen to this and go, oh, I'm not going to get that because, you know, Hugh says he doesn't like it. Trust me, I am not the person whose opinion you want to listen to on this.
Gotcha. So thumbs down from Hugh, but give it a shot anyway if it sounds like it's your kind of thing.
If it's something that you're into and you like those style games, absolutely, because I don't think there was anything wrong with it other than it wasn't my cup of tea.
Gotcha.
And trying to find the save function.
He disliked it so much that he tried to push the review onto me. He was like, "Is there a way like we can get this for you so you can try it?" And I'm like, "No, thanks. I'm good. I'm
Did
good."
You find out how to save?
I honestly don't remember. I don't remember if I did. But, you know, here's the thing. I was looking at it like, you know, I was excited. You know, we got a video game review. Then I find out that it's not the style game I really like. There's no way I could have put 100 hours into this game.
Right. And which it sounds like that's what you need to do. Like, that's super in depth. Apparently, it's very, very faithful to the tabletop game. So your mileage may vary. If it's something you're really into, like if you want a super faithful D&D style game, then maybe that's your thing. So,
well, okay, I'm glad I was able to.
My brother might like it then. My brother's into D&D. Actually, my son plays D&D now. So.
Oh boy.
I'm glad I was kind of able to fumble my way through this review. I didn't know was coming though.
All right. Do you want to go into the comics, or do you want to talk about the other thing you want to talk about?
Well, I just want to put out there, and Paul, you know this. Corbs, you probably don't. But my wife wrote a book.
Yes.
And she's finally, originally it was just for Avery. The character, it's a fantasy book, and the character, just like my daughter, has a Tourette's-like syndrome, causes tics and things like that. And she wanted to just write something for her. Well, it's really fucking good. And I mean, she has revised this to the point where, you know, I actually read the first 8 chapters again tonight while I was eating dinner. Because she wants me to go through now because she's getting close to being done. And I mean, I tried reading the Harry Potter series and I didn't like the writing style that much. I mean, this blows it away. So, nice. I mean, and I think a lot of people have said that too, like the first book in the Harry Potter series, it was a really good story, but it wasn't a technically well-written book. I think this is definitely better. I'm not going to say, the story, is it as good? That's going to be up to the reader, but I've kind of, I don't want to say pressured her, but I've convinced her to go ahead and at the very least release it digitally on Amazon. She's put together covers and everything. She started up a website. I think this is really, really good stuff. If you like, it's like she's shooting for like grade school, you know, young adult type audience. It's definitely in the vein of Harry Potter and things like that. But we're excited about it. It's not available yet for sale or anything like that. But we are working towards that, and hopefully the editing will be done by the end of the year. And she's trying to decide, you know, does she want to try to submit to a traditional publisher first or go right to Amazon Digital? And we'll see what happens. But I just wanted to throw that out there. I'm her biggest fan, so I have to.
How about the title and the website for the audience?
The title is The Keepers of Talamh. That's, I believe, TAHLM. And it might be EM, but the website is www.dndbooks.com. dsallenauthor.com. Let me just double check that because we had some issues between that and the Twitter feed because somebody else had actually taken that. Let me just look that up. I kind of like recording the show and having my computer right here.
All right.
Author.com. Sorry, I should have had this prepared. No, maybe it's just DS Allen. I think it was the Twitter one. She couldn't get the actual. Oh, crap. I can't get anything. Well, that's fun. Hey, Paul, you want to move on to something else and I'll
yeah, and not to mention this will all be on the Facebook page. We'll have links and all that ready to go. We'll probably have Laura tweet it out as well. So if we can't get the information right here, we'll have it all ready to go when the episode comes out. But next, we're going to move into our GeekPod Book Club. We're going to talk about comics a little bit. I was actually going to ask this, but then Hugh guilted me and said he's actually been caught up on reading comics. So I'm going to go ahead with my first pick, which is a book that came out this week. It's called The Sea of Sorrows #1 from IDW, and I'm going to read to you the write-up from Previews World. Deep sea adventure with a horrific twist. From the creative team behind last year's hit horror series Road of Bones comes an all-new tale of terror in the bone-chilling style. In the aftermath of the Great War, the North Atlantic is ripe for plunder by independent salvage crews. When a former naval officer hires the SS Vagabond, he leads the ship to a sunken U-boat and a fortune in gold. Tensions mount as the crew prepares to double-cross each other, but the darkness of the ocean floor holds deeper terrors than any of them have bargained for. Plunge headfirst into the icy waters of dread with another historic tale of terror from writer Rich Douck and artist Alex Cormack. Sounds really, really cool. I haven't been able to read it yet this week. Been a busy week. But it sounds really cool. Looks really good. Check it out if you get an opportunity at your local comic shop or online and all your regular digital venues.
Yes, Deb.
Okay.
Okay, I did find it. Sorry about that. I should have had this prepared. It is dsallenauthor.com because there's another author named DS Allen who has the website. She's also on Facebook. It's, like I said, it's the Keeper's Talamh. It's book 1. It's called The Misplaced Child.
Nice.
And there's a mock-up cover on the website. We actually used Avery. She posed and took pictures and that for the cover, and then Damara did stuff. And we may not end up using that one, but I think it's really cool.
Yeah, I saw that one. That's pretty cool. So, I think you shared it, and that's when it came on my radar.
Gotcha. Yeah. So yeah. Anyway, moving on.
Yes. What about you? Comics.
I not reading anything like crazy or different recently. I've really just tried to keep up with the books that I like, the core books, Batman, Spider-Man. I haven't really read anything out of the ordinary. The current run of Spider-Man is getting a little weird. There's some crazy shit going on there. The three Jokers ended. Did you end up getting to read the Three Jokers, Paul?
I didn't.
Well, they're talking about doing a sequel because it's one of the most critically acclaimed and most loved series, Batman. It's a huge deal. I fucking hated it. And not because it was bad, but because at the end of it, I feel like, this was advertised as, first of all, they created a mystery. Batman's in what, the Mobius chair, I think that thing's called. Mm-hmm. And, he basically has all knowledge of all time, just for a few brief minutes. And he learns that there are 3 Jokers. Mind blown. Everyone's like, what? There's 3 Jokers.
That was a while ago, right?
Yeah, it was. It was like 5, 6, 7 years. We've been waiting all this time to get an answer to what that was. They finally do a 3-issue limited series, The 3 Jokers. And lo and behold, there are 3 Jokers. We get 0 answers as to why, really, where they come from. By the end of this book, you're left with only one of them. And I don't really feel like I learned anything more. They could have completely skipped that and nothing would have changed. And I feel like that should have been, even if it wasn't, cataclysmic change, it should have changed the myth of Batman in some way. I guarantee it's not even mentioned in the main books ever because there's no fallout from it. They don't need to mention it.
Yeah, they've already pared it down back to 1, so.
Yeah, and the funny thing about it, too, is they kind of shoot themselves in the back because at the very end, he's talking because Alfred's still alive whenever this happens. And Batman goes, I knew who the Joker really was 2 weeks after the first time I met him. We find out all this time he's actually known the Joker's real identity. And you don't really find out who he is. You just find out he was a angry guy an abusive father, had a wife and a kid, and Batman moved them to a safe house and got them away from the Joker. And, then he became the Joker. We don't really learn his name or anything like that, but it kind of defeats the whole point of like, who is the Joker? And he's known this entire fucking time.
Right.
So,
that's no fun.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, good, really well written, great characters, great art. But if that was their intention, I just kind of, why did we fucking bother?
Yeah.
That's so just spend money.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. Oh, you wanted to talk about Ethan Van Sciver.
Not yet. We're going to focus on that in a future episode.
Okay.
Yes, that's coming later on. Because that's one of those things where I actually have to do some research and look into what happened, how he went batshit crazy, and started calling people Nazis and telling them to kill themselves.
And saying that DC is going to close in June.
Yes. Yeah, that was the latest one. Anything else, Hugh, before we wrap up?
I think I'm good. How about you, Corbs?
Corbs is good.
All right. Well, I'm gonna close this out with something a little bit different. This might be something new in the COVID era that I do instead of the WTF files, because I'm really not brushing up against much crazy shit out in the real world anymore. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna drop one of Paul's wisdoms and nuggets for you guys. All right, we ready to go?
Sure.
Love is not the best feeling in the world, my friends. Finding a toilet when you have diarrhea, now that is the best feeling in the world. Good night, everybody. And Megan might be bitches.
This has been a GeekPod Network production.